tragic end of the 12 apostles of Jesus Bible stories. In the world of the Bible, characters are remembered not just for their lives, but also for the way they died. Today, let's delve into the deaths of the 12 of the 12 apostles of Jesus. These were not ordinary deaths. They stand as ultimate testaments to their faithfulness, pushing the boundaries of our understanding of devotion and cruelty. Stay with us, subscribe now, and prepare for a journey where faith and fact intertwine in ways you never imagined possible. Number 1. The death of James, son of Zebedee. Among the 12 apostles chosen by Jesus, James, son of Zebedee, holds a unique position as the first to face martyrdom. His death, a stark reminder of the cost of discipleship, would forever mark the early church and inspire generations of believers. James, brother to the Apostle John, began his life as a simple fisherman on the Sea of Galilee. This ordinary existence was forever altered when Jesus called him and his brother to follow him. Along with Peter, they formed a close inner circle within the 12, witnessing pivotal moments in Jesus' ministry, such as the Transfiguration, the raising of Jairus' daughter, and the agonizing struggle in the Garden of Gethsemane. These experiences solidified their faith and prepared them for the challenges to come. Following Jesus' ascension and the dramatic events of Pentecost, the apostles scattered to spread the gospel message. James, filled with the Holy Spirit, boldly proclaimed the risen Christ, a message that quickly drew the ire of the Jewish authorities. King Herod Agrippa I, eager to solidify his power and appease the Jewish leaders, saw the growing Christian movement as a threat. In a calculated move documented in Acts 12, 1-2, he ordered James's execution, making him the first apostle to suffer martyrdom. Tradition holds that as James was led to his execution, likely by beheading, a soldier assigned to guard him was deeply moved by his unwavering faith and powerful testimony. Overcome with remorse for his role in the apostles' impending death, the soldier, in a testament to the transformative power of Christ's love, James, even in the face of his own mortality, offered forgiveness, and they were executed together. This poignant account, passed down through generations, highlights the profound impact of James's character and faith. His death, far from silencing the gospel message, served as a catalyst for its spread, emboldening the early Christians and solidifying their commitment to Christ, regardless of the cost. The impact of James's martyrdom resonates even today. His feast day is commemorated in both the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches, a testament to his enduring legacy. He is venerated as the patron saint of Spain, and his supposed burial site in Santiago de Compostela has become a revered pilgrimage destination. The Camino de Santiago, a pilgrimage undertaken by millions over the centuries, stands as a powerful symbol of spiritual journey and unwavering devotion, inspired by the life and sacrifice of James, the son of Zebedee. The death of Apostle John. John the Apostle, known for his profound and intimate relationship with Jesus, stands apart from most of his fellow apostles in the manner of his death. While many met violent ends as martyrs for their faith, John is believed to have died of natural causes, a testament to a life fully dedicated to spreading the message of love and faith. Called alongside his brother James from their fishing boat on the Sea of Galilee, John quickly became an integral part of Jesus' inner circle. Referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved, he bore witness to pivotal moments in Christ's ministry, including the Last Supper, the crucifixion, and the glorious resurrection. His deep connection with Jesus would later inspire him to pen the Gospel of John, 3 epistles, and the deeply symbolic book of Revelation. Though spared a martyr's death, John's life was far from easy. He endured his share of persecution for his unwavering commitment to Christ's teachings. Tradition speaks of a harrowing attempt on his life, where he was sentenced to be boiled alive in oil. Miraculously, Through what believers consider divine intervention, he emerged unharmed. This event, however, led to his exile to the desolate island of Patmos. It was there, amidst isolation, that he received the divine visions that would form the foundation of the book of Revelation, a powerful message of hope and God's ultimate triumph over evil. After Emperor Domitian, who had ordered his exile, died, John returned to Ephesus. He continued to lead the burgeoning Christian community there, his wisdom and experience proving invaluable in those formative years. He eventually died peacefully around 100 AD, leaving behind a legacy of unwavering faith and enduring love. John's passing, while devoid of the dramatic martyrdom of his fellow apostles, is no less significant. His writings, imbued with profound theological insights and a deep understanding of Christ's teachings, have shaped Christian thought and spirituality for centuries. His emphasis on love as the cornerstone of Christian life continues to resonate, making him a beloved figure whose impact transcends time. The Basilica of St. John in Ephesus, believed to mark his burial site, stands as a testament to his enduring legacy. It serves as a poignant reminder of a life dedicated to serving Christ, demonstrating that true devotion can manifest not only in martyrdom, but also in a lifetime dedicated to love, faith, and service. 3. The death of Apostle James the Less. James the Less, a figure often overshadowed by his more prominent namesake, James the Greater, played a pivotal role in the early church. Believed to be the son of Alphaeus and possibly a relative of Jesus, he rose to prominence in the Jerusalem community. His leadership during the Council of Jerusalem, where crucial decisions were made regarding the inclusion of Gentiles, highlights his influential position in shaping early Christian doctrine. Despite limited details in the New Testament, church tradition paints a picture of James the Less as a man known for his piety, dedication to prayer, and unwavering faith. He earned the nickname Camel Knee for the calluses developed from hours spent on his knees in prayer, a testament to his commitment to spiritual devotion. Unfortunately, his piety did not shield him from the growing animosity towards the burgeoning Christian movement. Around 62 CE, James met a tragic end, becoming a martyr for his beliefs. While accounts vary, the most enduring narrative describes his death as a brutal, multi-stage ordeal. Driven by their hatred for the burgeoning Christian movement, his persecutors first threw James from the pinnacle of the temple in Jerusalem, intending to make a spectacle of his death. Miraculously surviving the fall, he found himself surrounded by an enraged mob as they pelted him with stones, echoing the stoning of Stephen, the first Christian martyr. James, embodying Christ's teachings, responded with prayers for his attackers. Finally, a fuller, wielding a heavy club, delivered the fatal blow, silencing the apostles' prayers. The manner of James the Less's death, mirroring the violence endured by Jesus and other early Christians, underscores the perilous reality faced by those who dared to spread the gospel message. His martyrdom, commemorated on May 3rd in the Western Church and October 9th in the Eastern Orthodox tradition, serves as a stark reminder of the cost of discipleship in the early church. Though his life may be less documented than some of his contemporaries, the legacy of James the Less shines brightly. He stands as a testament to the power of unwavering faith, even in the face of persecution. His dedication to prayer, leadership during a pivotal moment in Christian history, and ultimately his willingness to die for his beliefs continue to inspire believers centuries later. 4. The death of Apostle Peter. The death of the Apostle Peter stands as a pivotal moment in early Christian history, steeped in tradition and historical accounts, though not directly detailed in the New Testament. According to church tradition, Peter's martyrdom took place in Rome around 64 CE during the reign of Emperor Nero. This period was marked by intense persecution of Christians, of reaction to the Great Fire of Rome in the same year. Nero, seeking to divert suspicion from himself, blamed the Christians for the disaster, leading to widespread and brutal persecution. The New Testament does hint at Peter's future suffering through a prophecy made by Jesus in John 21:18-19. Jesus foretold that Peter, when old, would stretch out his hands, signifying a time when he would face a death that would glorify God. This passage is often interpreted as a reference to crucifixion, which later Christian traditions link to Peter's own martyrdom. Tradition holds that Peter was crucified in Rome, but with a unique twist. He requested to be crucified upside down. This request was driven by his profound humility and a feeling of unworthiness to die in the same manner as Jesus Christ. The earliest records of this upside-down crucifixion come from apocryphal texts, such as the Acts of Peter, which, while not included in the canonical scriptures, provide early accounts of Peter's martyrdom. Peter's role as a leading figure in the early church and his eventual martyrdom in Rome are supported by writings from early church fathers like Eusebius and Jerome. The legacy of Peter's death has had a lasting and profound impact on Christianity. His willingness to sacrifice his life for his faith has become a powerful symbol of ultimate devotion. Peter is venerated as a saint in both the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches, and his martyrdom is commemorated annually. The cross of St. Peter, an inverted cross, symbolizes his humility. An inverted cross symbolizes his humility and his steadfastness in faith. Peter's willingness to endure such a brutal end for his beliefs serves as a testament to the courage and conviction of the early Christian community, inspiring generations of believers to uphold their faith with similar resolve and dedication. 5. The death of Apostle Judas, also known as Thaddeus. Often confused with the infamous Judas Iscariot, Judas Thaddeus, also known as Thaddeus or Judas the Less, stands distinct as a devoted follower of Christ and a pillar, while the Gospels offer few glimpses into his life. Tradition paints a vibrant picture of a zealous apostle dedicated to spreading the good news far and wide. Following Jesus' resurrection, Judas Thaddeus embarked on missionary journeys, carrying the message of Christianity to regions across Judea, Samaria, and even as far as Persia. He is credited with performing miracles and converting multitudes through his passionate preaching and unwavering commitment to Christ's teaching. His unwavering dedication, however, ultimately led to his martyrdom around 65 CE, a period marked by escalating persecution against Christians. While the exact location and circumstances surrounding his death remain shrouded in some mystery, most accounts converge on a common theme. Some traditions place his martyrdom in Beirut, Lebanon, where he met his end while preaching the gospel. Others suggest he was slain by an axe or sword, brutal instruments reflecting the hostility faced by early Christians. Regardless of the specific details, his death serves as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by the apostles in their mission to spread Christ's message. Despite the shadow of martyrdom, Judas Thaddeus' legacy is one of hope and unwavering faith. He is venerated as a saint in both Western and Eastern Christian traditions. His feast day, observed on June 19th and October 28th, respectively, often depicted holding a club or axe, symbols of his martyrdom. He is also revered as the patron saint of lost causes, a beacon of hope for those facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. Judas Thaddeus' life and death embodied the enduring power of faith and perseverance in the face of adversity. He serves as an inspiration to believers across generations, reminding us that true dedication to Christ often demands unwavering courage and a willingness to embrace suffering for the sake of the gospel message. 6. The death of Apostle Andrew. The Apostle Andrew, brother of Peter and one of Jesus' chosen 12, lived a life defined by action and unwavering faith. Initially a humble fisherman, his life took a dramatic turn after encountering John the Baptist and ultimately recognizing Jesus as the Messiah. This defining moment ignited a passion within him to bring others to Christ, beginning with his own brother Peter. Andrew's commitment to spreading the gospel message expanded far beyond his initial encounter with Jesus. Following the resurrection, he embarked on extensive journeys, bringing the message of Christianity to distant lands, including regions in Greece and Asia Minor. His tireless efforts played a pivotal role in establishing the early church beyond the borders of Judea. However, Andrew's unwavering dedication to his mission ultimately led to his martyrdom in Patras, Greece, around 60 CE. Despite facing opposition and direct orders to cease preaching, he remained resolute, refusing to be silent. His steadfastness so angered the Roman authorities that they sentenced him to death by crucifixion. In a testament to his humility and deep reverence for Christ, Andrew requested to be bound to an X-shaped cross, believing himself unworthy to die in the same manner as his Savior. This unique cross, now known as St. Andrew's Cross, became a poignant symbol of his sacrifice. Tradition tells of Andrew enduring the agonizing crucifixion with unwavering faith, even preaching to those passing by during his final hours. His martyrdom exemplified the depth of his devotion and the transformative power of the Christian message. Though Andrew's physical presence was lost, his legacy continued to resonate. His remains, initially interred in Patras, were later partially transferred to Constantinople, solidifying his position as a significant figure in the early church. His feast day, celebrated annually on November 30th, serves as a testament to his enduring impact. The story of Andrew serves as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by the early apostles. His life and death embody the spirit of evangelism, emphasizing the profound impact of unwavering faith and the willingness to endure hardship for the sake of the gospel. 7. The death of Apostle Philip. Philip, one of the 12 apostles, is thought to have been born in Bethsaida, Galilee. He was instrumental in the early church, especially in disseminating the gospel. Although the New Testament does not specify the details of his death, various apocryphal writings and church traditions shed light on his final moments. According to these traditions, Philip was active in preaching the gospel in regions such as Phrygia and Hierapolis, where he performed numerous miracles and converted many to Christianity. His ministry often brought him into conflict with local authorities and pagan practices. The most widely accepted account of his martyrdom suggests that Philip was crucified during the reign of Emperor Domitian around 80 CE. Unlike Jesus, Philip reportedly requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as his Savior. This request reflects his humility and deep reverence for Christ. The Acts of Philip, a non-canonical text written centuries after his death, narrates that Philip was arrested and brought before the local proconsul, who was enraged by Philip's success in converting the governor's wife to Christianity. This led to Philip's execution, which was carried out in a public spectacle designed to deter others from following his teachings. The account describes how, while hanging on the cross, Philip continued to preach to the people, demonstrating his commitment to his faith, even in the face of death. Philip's martyrdom is often associated with the symbolism of bread, reflecting his role in the feeding of the 5,000, where he expressed doubt about the possibility of feeding such a large crowd. This moment underscores his humanity and the transformative power of faith that he ultimately embraced. His death, like those of other apostles, serves as a testament to the sacrifices made by early Christians in their mission to spread the teachings of Jesus. Philip's legacy is honored in various Christian traditions, with feast days celebrated on May 3 in the Western Church and November 14 in the Eastern Orthodox Church. His martyrdom not only highlights the challenges faced by the early church, but also inspires believers to remain steadfast in their faith. Even in the face of persecution, through his life and death, Philip exemplifies the call to discipleship and the willingness to endure suffering for the sake of the gospel. 8. The death of Apostle Simon the Zealot. Simon the Zealot, one of the 12 apostles chosen by Jesus, is a somewhat mysterious figure whose life is cloaked in historical obscurity and sparse biblical references. His intriguing title, the Zealot, hints at a fiery spirit, likely associated with the Zealots, a Jewish sect known for their fervent opposition to Roman rule. This suggests a man of deep conviction and unwavering passion, traits that would define his life as a follower of Christ. Following Jesus' ascension, Simon the Zealot embarked on a mission to spread the message of Christianity, venturing far beyond the borders of Judea. While the specific regions he evangelized remain a source of debate, tradition suggests he journeyed extensively, carrying the good news to distant corners of the Roman Empire, possibly reaching as far as Persia and North Africa. As with many early Christians, Simon's unwavering commitment to his faith ultimately placed him in the crosshairs of persecution, although the precise details of his death remain shrouded in mystery. Several compelling narratives have emerged, each highlighting the brutality he faced. One tradition claims Simon was martyred during the reign of Emperor Trajan, known for his ruthless suppression of Christianity. Some accounts suggest he endured the agonizing torment of crucifixion, his body broken and left as a stark warning to other believers. Others propose a more gruesome end, being burned alive, his fiery death mirroring the passionate faith that consumed him. Perhaps the most harrowing account describes Simon being sawed in half, a gruesome testament to the lengths his persecutors would go to silence his message. Interestingly, some ancient texts link Simon's fate with that of another apostle, Judas Thaddeus, distinct from Judas Iscariot. These accounts depict both men suffering martyrdom together, brutally beaten to death with axe blows by a mob incited by pagan priests in Mesopotamia. While difficult to verify, this shared martyrdom speaks to the dangers faced by early Christians and the unwavering commitment of those who dared to spread the gospel in hostile land. Despite the ambiguity surrounding his demise, the legacy of Simon the Zealot burns bright, his fiery spirit evident in his title and reflected in the various accounts of his martyrdom, serves as a potent reminder of the unwavering faith that fueled the early Christian movement. Though his life remains shrouded in the mists of time, his willingness to embrace suffering and death for his beliefs stands as an enduring testament to the transformative power of the gospel message. 9. The death of Apostle Bartholomew. While not as widely known as some of the other apostles, Bartholomew, also called Nathanael, holds a significant place in the history of early Christianity. His initial skepticism towards Jesus, famously documented in the Gospel of John, transformed into unwavering faith, propelling him to dedicate his life to spreading Christ's teaching. He journeyed extensively, carrying the message of Christianity to regions such as Armenia, Ethiopia, and the Middle East. Tragically, Bartholomew's commitment to his mission ultimately led to his gruesome martyrdom, believed to have occurred around 68 CE in Albanopolis, now part of Azerbaijan. While details vary, the most consistent account describes his execution as a twofold horror, being flayed alive and subsequently beheaded. This brutal end is attributed to his success in converting influential figures, potentially even the local king Ptolemyus, to Christianity, arousing the fury of those in power. One version claims that Astyages, Ptolemyus's brother, orchestrated Bartholomew's torture and death, fearing Roman reprisals for the king's conversion. Another account suggests he was crucified upside down, mirroring the fate of Peter. Regardless of the specific details, Bartholomew's martyrdom stands as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by early Christians willing to sacrifice everything for their faith. Over time, the gruesome nature of his death led to Bartholomew's veneration as the patron saint of tanners and butchers. His feast day, observed on August 24th in the Western Church and June 11th in the Eastern Orthodox tradition, serves as a time to reflect on his courage. Despite the brutality of his end, Bartholomew's legacy continues to inspire. His story embodies the transformative power of faith, showcasing a man who moved from doubt to unwavering belief, ultimately giving his life in service of Christ's teachings. His martyrdom, though horrific, stands as a testament to the enduring impact of the early apostles and their unwavering commitment to spreading the Christian message, regardless of the cost. 10. The death of Apostle Thomas. Thomas, also known as Didymus, known for his initial doubts about the resurrection, but later becoming a fervent believer and missionary. The circumstances surrounding his death have been the subject of much speculation and debate among scholars and theologians. One of the earliest accounts of Thomas's martyrdom is found in the apocryphal text Acts of Thomas, written around the 3rd century CE. According to this work, Thomas traveled to India to preach the gospel, where he eventually met his demise. The story goes that Thomas was commissioned by Jesus to build a palace for King Gondophares, but instead of using the money for construction, he distributed it among the poor. Enraged by this, the king imprisoned Thomas, who was later released after the king's brother had a vision of the heavenly palace Thomas had built. Thomas continued his missionary work in another region, where he was eventually arrested by King Misdaius and sentenced to death. The Acts of Thomas describes the apostle's martyrdom in vivid detail, stating that he was pierced by 4 soldiers with their spears while kneeling in prayer. This account aligns with the traditional iconography of Thomas, who is often depicted holding a spear or a carpenter's square, symbolizing his martyrdom and his role as a builder of churches. Another tradition, originating from the Indian Christian community known as the St. Thomas Christians, also claims that Thomas was martyred in India. According to this tradition, Thomas was killed by a spear while praying on a hilltop near the city of Madras, now Chennai. The St. Thomas Christians believe that Thomas founded several churches along the Malabar coast and that his remains were later moved to Edessa, modern-day Sanliurfa, Turkey, and then to Ortona, Italy, where they are currently housed in the Cathedral of San Tommaso. Despite these traditions, the exact location and circumstances of Thomas's death remain uncertain. Some scholars argue that he may have been martyred in Persia or Parthia based on the testimony of early church historians like Eusebius of Caesarea. The lack of definitive historical records makes it difficult to determine the veracity of these accounts. Regardless of the uncertainties surrounding his death, Thomas's legacy as a devoted apostle and missionary endures. His story serves as a testament to the power of faith and the willingness to face adversity for the sake of the gospel. The doubts he initially expressed about Jesus' resurrection, only to later become a fervent believer, resonate with many Christians, reminding them of the transformative power of encountering the risen Christ. Today, Thomas is venerated as a saint in various Christian traditions, with feast days celebrated on December 21 in the Western Church and July 3 in the Eastern Orthodox Church. He is the patron saint of architects, builders, and geometricians, reflecting his role as a builder of churches and his association with the spear that ended his life. The enduring legacy of Thomas the Apostle continues to inspire believers around the world, reminding them of the importance of faith, courage, and the willingness to proclaim the truth of Christ's resurrection, even in the face of adversity. 11. The death of Apostle Matthew. Matthew, also known as Levi, was a tax collector before being called by Jesus to follow him. He is credited with authoring the Gospel of Matthew, which emphasizes Jesus' teachings and his fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. After the resurrection of Jesus, Matthew is believed to have traveled extensively to spread the gospel, particularly in regions such as Ethiopia. According to church tradition, Matthew suffered martyrdom in Ethiopia around 60 AD. However, the specifics of his death are not definitively recorded in the New Testament, leading to a variety of accounts regarding the circumstances of his martyrdom. One of the more popular traditions suggests that he was killed by sword wound, a fate that reflects the violent opposition faced by many apostles during their missionary work. This account aligns with the broader context of persecution that early Christians endured as they spread the message of Jesus. Another narrative, found in the apocryphal text known as the Acts of Matthew, presents a more dramatic account of his death. In this version, Matthew is said to have been martyred by being burned alive at the command of a local king who was angered by Matthew's refusal to renounce his faith and his successful conversion of many people to Christianity. This story, while not considered a reliable historical source, illustrates the intense hostility that early Christians faced, particularly from local authorities who perceived their teachings as a threat to traditional beliefs and power structures. Some accounts also suggest that Matthew was stoned to death or even impaled, reflecting the various ways in which he is believed to have met his end. The inconsistency in these accounts highlights the challenges historians face in reconstructing the lives and deaths of early Christian figures, as many details were passed down through oral traditions and later writings that may have embellished or altered the original events. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the specifics of his martyrdom, Matthew's legacy as a faithful apostle and evangelist endures. He is venerated as a saint in many Christian traditions, with feast days celebrated on September 21 in the Western Church and November 16 in the Eastern Orthodox Church. His contributions to the New Testament and his role in the early church underscore the importance of his witness to the life and teachings of Jesus. 12. The Death of Apostle Judas Iscariot. And now we come to the final apostle, the most notorious apostle among the 12 in the Bible. Few figures in history evoke such visceral reactions as Judas Iscariot, the apostle forever linked with the betrayal of Jesus Christ. His actions, driven by greed and shrouded in despair, set in motion the events culminating in the crucifixion, cementing his place as a symbol of treachery and a stark warning against succumbing to darkness. The accounts of Judas's death, however, are not without their complexities, presenting contrasting narratives that have fueled centuries of debate and theological interpretation. The Gospel of Matthew paints a picture of deep remorse consuming Judas as the weight of his actions crushes his soul. He hurls the 30 pieces of silver, blood money that now burns his hands, at the feet of the priests, acknowledging his sin of betraying innocent blood. His cries of guilt, however, fall on deaf ears, leaving him utterly alone in his despair. The Gospel recounts him then taking his own life, hanging himself from a tree, forever after known as the Judas tree, a chilling symbol of his betrayal. In stark contrast, the book of Acts presents a more gruesome end. Judas, instead of finding release in suicide, uses the blood money to purchase a field. There, in a macabre twist of fate, he falls headlong, his body bursting open in a horrifying The land, purchased with ill-gotten gains, becomes known as the Field of Blood, forever marked by his betrayal and violent end. These differing narratives, far from diminishing the impact of Judas's actions, highlight the complexity of his story and the enduring mystery surrounding his final moments. Some scholars propose a reconciliation, suggesting the fall described in Acts occurred after he hanged himself. Others see the contrasting accounts as reflections of different oral traditions, each seeking to grapple with the enormity of his betrayal and the appropriate punishment for such a sin. Regardless of how he met his physical end, Judas's true demise occurred long before, in the dark recesses of his heart. Consumed by greed, he betrayed the very embodiment of love and sacrifice, his name forever etched in history as a synonym for treachery. Yet, even in his downfall, Judas serves as a profound reminder of the complexities of human nature. He stands as a cautionary tale about the seductive power of greed, the devastating consequences of disloyalty, and the constant struggle between good and evil. Thank you for following this journey with us. Please leave a comment to share your thoughts on today's story. If you're passionate about exploring the mysteries of the Bible, don't hesitate to subscribe and join us as we delve deeper into this glorious yet tragic past.